All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Filipino American Women Project, also known as TFAW Project for short. I am your co-host, Jen Amos. And as always, I have Nani Dominguez with me as well. Nani, welcome back.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back.
Yes. And we're excited because this is yet another episode where it's just Nani and I. And so, since episode 100, we have been slowing down to focus on nurturing the relationships we've been able to build in the first 100 episodes. And also, kind of build our new show, Tsismis with Jen and Nani. And I think it gives us more energy to really focus on the new relationships, Nani, because I know after this recording, we're going to be interviewing someone in the upcoming weeks that's going to be published. And so I'm curious, I know that you mentioned this, after we talked to Maryann in regards to kind of how nice it feels to let other people lead now as opposed to us. So I want to get your general thoughts on what that experience has been like for you so far.
Yeah, I loved that we launched with Maryann. And if you guys missed that, it may or may not still be available on our Facebook or our YouTube page publicly. And if not, then it's been archived for our Buy Us Boba members, which you can get access to on buyusboba.com. But I really loved launching with her and looking forward to the next series of workshops that we're doing with the Filipino Momcast for our Tsismis with Jen and Nani launch, because that's basically going to be how Tsismis with Jen and Nani, this new podcast platform, is going to be approached, because we've already built this amazing community of Pinays that are all doing such amazing things on their own. And the ladies of the Filipino Momcast are just a great example of that, because it's 3 of them who we've all interviewed on TFAW already, who have gone on to create their own businesses individually, as well as start a project together, start a podcast together called, again, the Filipino Momcast. So I just love the community building that's going on. And again, all of the people that we've interviewed in the last 2 years have just really been flourishing in their respective fields and the businesses that they have created for themselves. And we just want to take time to really highlight them and the work that they're doing and give them a chance to, dive into what they do more than just their personal stories and life lessons that they shared with us before, to really kind of contribute to this idea that we keep promoting of building self-sustaining communities. I think that that's really what's at the heart of it, is this network that we're building and this ability of codependency that we can have on each other instead of seeking it outside of our community. We really have a lot to offer each other here in the Philam community, Pinay women in specific. So we just want to highlight that and continue again to build community with you guys and get you guys involved in all that the past guests that we've had on the TFAW Project have to offer.
Yeah. Well said, Nani, as always. I always just think in my head, this is why Nani's my co-host, because she's really good at articulating things for me. It's I just prompt her and she just says it all for me. So just as a recap to our listeners, the last live event Nani is talking about is called Celebrating Community and Dismantling the Crab Mentality with Maryann Clark from the Filipino Momcast. So I think it was actually very fitting to start with her, because she was one of the first people I interviewed on the show before you came on, Nani. I think right before you came on, actually.
Yeah, literally the episode before.
Yeah. And so it was cool for her to come and feature her in the order that, she came on our show. Now we have her be the first to do this live event. And the biggest thing I enjoyed about our conversation, Nani, is, one, kind of what you said offline afterward. I really just liked how we were allowing other women to lead and we were kind of just chiming in, right? I really liked being able to see what Maryann is up to, what she's capable of, what she's doing for her clients and her community, and just be able to enjoy it and appreciate it and celebrate it with her. And then the second thing is, in regards to celebrating community and dismantling the crab mentality, what I liked about that is very often when we talk about the crab mentality, we talk about how other people are bringing us down. But Maryann talked about, what can you do to dismantle the crab mentality? It starts with your own inner work. And, we were talking about this live in her workshop that that's really what we're about at the TFAW Project, is rather than looking to change other people, we almost want to look at other people as a mirror to us to see what is that telling me about myself and what can I do differently to prevent something like that from happening again, or to handle it a lot better should it come by again. And so that really stuck with me, Nani, is just her whole conversation. It really, the majority of the workshop, which you all will have access to in the archives of Tsismis with Jen and Nani, if you check it out at buyusboba.com, that really resonated with me.
Yeah. I agree. I think that it was really refreshing to have someone frame the crab mentality in that way, because I've heard other people talk about it, and, even blog posts that I've written about it that just kind of go over what the dynamic is between people or groups within the community. And I really love how Maryann took it back and really made it about the heart of looking within, which is what we like to do here on the TFAW Project, like you said, is be a mirror to the listener, and, for them to really look within themselves to see how they uphold the crab mentality or how they contribute to it. So I thought that was a really helpful way to just be introduced to the idea, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. For sure. So let's give a hint to the next event, which by the time this episode is published, and if you are listening to this the day it's published, this live event is coming out the next day. So this will be coming out Saturday. If I look at my calendar, Saturday, May 1st, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. And this is actually by another one of the co-hosts of the Filipino Momcast, which is Lynne. Lynne has her event's going to be called How to Handle Negative Self-Talk, Making an Acquaintance Instead of an Enemy. Just with that title alone, Nani, what do you think this workshop's going to be about?
Yeah. So basically, when we were brainstorming with Lynne, what we had talked about this workshop being was how to address that bitch in your head, the one that's like your mom's voice, maybe, or your dad's voice, or your grandma, or wherever it came from, that just gives you that critical analysis on everything that you do and makes you, either it causes self-loathing, or maybe it causes you to be resentful towards those people who raised you and put those kind of voices or tendencies in your head, and just the little devil and angels on your shoulder that keep you stuck in the same feedback loops of activity and tendencies. So I'm really looking forward to what Lynne has to share. She has also been another one of our past TFAW guests that we interviewed sometime in the last 2 years. And she has gone on to create her own business coaching business called The Bold CEO. So if you guys haven't already checked her out, you can check her out on episode.
Yeah. So if you guys want to hear about Lynne and her story before her live workshop tomorrow, so you got 12 hours to listen to this, but episode 78, which was released November 6, 2020. And it's titled, How Else Am I Different from Everybody? Embracing Her Uniqueness, Mental Health, and Offering Grace to Others. Beautiful title, beautiful question to ask. And, just really encourage all of you to take a listen if you want to get to know a little bit about her background and a snapshot of her life at that time that she was recording with us. It was really not too long ago, actually. That was 5 months ago, I think. But, so much can happen in 5 months. So.
Exactly. Even so, I mean, if you guys have the time to check it out before the event tomorrow with her, I would definitely encourage you to take a listen to that episode and just tune in tomorrow to see kind of the transformation that she's made since then and the gems that she'll have to share with us from her experience.
Yeah. And, Nani, the thing that I appreciate about Maryann and Lynne, and also an upcoming live event with Roanne, who created the 5 Pinoy love languages. So y'all in for a treat. Yes. But what I appreciate about all 3 of them is just how collaborative they are, how curious they are, how open they are to communicating with us. And part of why I say that is one of the big triggers in my life was kind of dealing with the quote unquote elderly, where I had to treat them a certain way just because they were older than me. And what I appreciate about these ladies is that not once have they made me feel less than, not once have they made me feel like because I'm younger, I have to respect you in a certain way. I still respect you, but not from a, superior inferiority kind of position. Sure. And I just want to give them that shout out and let them know how much I appreciate them, because that very much is still alive in our community for whatever reason it is. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for me. I could only stand that kind of energy for so long. And so again, I just want to stress, part of why we're collaborating with them is because we share the same values in regards to community and collaborating with each other and uplifting one another. And it's just beautiful that they're all mothers, they're all working mothers, and they're
And
taking
they're all
time to
still so
continue.
relatable. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they're still taking time to continue to serve and nurture our community. And, these are the kind of moms I like to be around.
Absolutely. I think that not just in our community, but just older women are like that in general, when they interact with younger women. And so I do also appreciate that they are able to share their wisdom with us and talk to us about their experience without it being like patronizing kind of. I think that that's really also some of the feedback that we've received as of lately is like, oh, you guys should, someone in my family had said, you guys should interview like a wider spectrum of age range in your guests. And we're like, oh, well, we definitely have. It just happens to be since we opened the interview process to allow people to come to us instead of us poaching out people that the age range has kind of shrunk a little bit in its spectrum. But
like answering the question as to why we haven't maybe like widen our range of ages in regard, like to have on the show. I mean, part of it is because like we have a long list of people we need to interview still, like we have a good problem here. Like
we have a waiting list, y'all.
Yeah, we literally have a waiting list. Like I think we're set for the rest of the year, Nani, and it's only April. Like that's how long our waiting list is at this point.
Yeah. And if you're on that waiting list, just know we will get to you, and we apologize for the delay. Cause I think, originally we thought that we would be pushing the interviews out faster. And now with this new platform that we've launched, we are kind of switching up our pace a little bit. And so please just give us grace, but we will get to you and you will be on the show. And again, it's nice to be reconnecting with the past guests on this new platform in a different kind of capacity, I guess, which highlights more of them and what they do and the wisdom that they have to share, rather than us pulling, the story, their life story out of them. And it's nice to kind of follow up after learning their life story on what they've now gone on to do with their lives. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, two things you said there. The first thing, if you're on the waiting list, to get excited, because like this is a thriving show, like Nani and I have been very consistent for almost 2 years now, to the point where, we do have a waiting list. And so, how great will it be for you to be a part of an established show at this point. And, Nani and I, just like what she mentioned, like we're getting busy. Like we're right now working on an academic paper, BT dubs. And so that's been taking a lot of our time as well. And actually, while we're at it, I want to share this announcement with our listeners. So we got the email at the time of this recording. It was April 24th at the time of this recording. But yesterday, we got the email notification from the Bulosan Research Conference Committee that our proposal, and I'll give the title of our paper in a minute here, has been accepted for the 2021 Bulosan Philippine X Studies Virtual Research Conference.
Yeah.
We are really excited about this. We have to give a special shout out to Stacy for making us aware of this, for having us push ourselves out of our own comfort zone to write an academic paper. Because first and foremost, I graduated college a decade ago, and I totally brought me back to the time that I just didn't want to write papers. And then Nani, I know that you wanted to challenge yourself as a writer, but it was a lot though. I think you said the most. So tell us about your experience and kind of how much of a relief it feels to know that our proposal has been accepted.
Yeah. I mean, academic writing is definitely different than any of the experience that I've had in writing. I didn't go to traditional college, so I didn't do the whole like thesis and MLA format. I mean, I've definitely written essays in MLA format, but that again was like over a decade ago. So it was definitely interesting to revisit that kind of writing. And it was nice to kind of test my skill set and expand my palette a little bit in what I'm able to do, I guess, because with my blogging, which is the only real writing besides doing the newsletter and the show notes and the titles and all of that for this podcast that I've done lately, it's really just like a free form. My blogs are really just like journal entries that I've gone back and edited like, 2 or 3 more times. And so to write for a submission, an academic submission that's now going to be used in a conference and whatever we decide to do with it after that it was definitely challenging, but I really enjoyed doing it at the same time. I don't think that I'm like one of the reasons why I never went to or followed through with real college was that I just don't thrive in that kind of environment. I just don't thrive in that really rigid, like deadline driven kind of atmosphere. It stresses me out more than it excites me.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to have that part over with. And I'm very grateful to Stacy for introducing us to the idea, pushing us outside of our comfort zone, and then helping us with things like the formatting so that it was, appropriate for what we were doing. And it just feels really relieving to have been accepted and now be on our way to be presenting it essentially at this conference in May. So please make sure you attend that because we worked very hard.
Yes, we worked like no joke, especially Nani. Nani, this is like her full-time job for a couple of weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I have to give like all the credit to Nani. I was just kind of like, what do you need? I'll do an auto recording and then you can paraphrase it. But I mean, just, I think to everyone's credit, like I loved how Stacy provided her academic background and experience to really format this in a way that is accepted, in the academic space. And then I just appreciate your love for writing and your willingness to want to challenge yourself, like you said, to expand your palette. And then, I'd like to believe I just provided the history of starting the whole project, and everything that came with it. And I'm grateful. And so to our listeners, if you want to, again, so this conference is coming up, save the date, Friday, May 28th. From 1:00 to 5:30 p.m. And then Saturday, May 29th from 1 to 6 p.m. And this is all Pacific time, all in the West Coast. So of course, to the East Coasters, it's going to be a little late, but that's okay. We're not doing anything at night anyway, at least not me. And you can actually get this. We'll provide this in an upcoming newsletter on how you can get your free admission. You just have to sign up for it and share why Philippine X studies is important to you. And I really want to share the name of our paper because again, this was a collective effort from not just Nani, Stacy, and myself, but we even reached out to some of our listeners, asked for their testimonials and their feedback that we've actually incorporated in the paper. So here's the name of the paper. It's titled Panay Podcasters, Building a Self-Sustaining Community Through Storytelling, Collective Healing and Learning and Collaboration. And Nani, I just feel so proud of us. I'm very proud of just what, like I didn't, when I go back to the early stages back in December 2016 of starting the project, I literally didn't know it would turn out this way almost 5 years later. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that, it's really arrived to this place where we want to be self-sustaining. Like we know that we are enough. We know that we have skill sets. We know that we have resources that we can share with one another. And now, at least on our podcast show, we're trying to cultivate that and encourage that, for generations to come, because as long as Nani and I can talk and be on a microphone, I think we're going to do this for a very long time.
Yeah, we'll be here. And just the last thing that I want to say is that it's not just a paper. Some people might be like, oh, a 35-page paper, like, hell no, I don't want to read that. But this is more of like, think of it more of like an ebook or some kind of just written resource that's really just a culmination of everything that we've done, talked about, and impacted through this project. So again, it incorporates not only like thoughts and transformations of me and Jen as co-hosts, as individuals, as professionals, but also includes testimonials from some of our listeners that reach out to us really often and have shared some of the deep ways that this show has impacted them and inspired them to make change in their own lives as well. Yeah. And really just all to exemplify how we've been able to use this project as a way to carve space for our community that otherwise just wouldn't exist. So I hope that I'm articulating the significance of this project, but also there's no way to really let it all sink in than to read it for yourself. So
That's right. And once we have it done, we have some future plans of making it available for everyone. So we also had reached out to women of color podcasters and other podcasters in the Asian community. And so to get their feedback, like all of them were like, oh, wow, like, will this paper be available? We're like, yeah, we need more of this out there because we want you all to understand that, at least in the podcasting space, there's really no gatekeeper to get started. So if you're looking for a place to exercise your voice, podcasting is a great way to get started. And you could actually get started for free. You could actually get started today. There's just a ton of resources to do that. And this paper is really a lot about that and understanding that, yes, we have glass ceilings in other spaces. There's some spaces where it's really difficult to pull up our own chair at the table. But in a place like podcasting, literally anyone can get started. And it takes a community to encourage each other to do it consistently and to really kind of solidify like your spot in this kind of space. Because I know that, Nani and I talk a lot about like, are we considered professionals if we never really worked in the traditional space and in these types of things? And we said, yeah, we can because we have a following, we have a community, people that want to hear from us, So anyway, all really exciting. So be on the lookout for that. You'll get more updates in the newsletter. And last but not least, Nani, before we wrap up here, I do want to make sure that we give a shout out to two of the new people who have supported us on buyusboba.com. And so once again, if you miss out on our live events and you want to get the archive of all the past events we've had, also additional, content material for our show, check out buyusboba.com and choose to become a member, maybe even just support us one time. Totally up to you. You have that option on there. But for the people who recently supported us, let me start with Elisa. So I want to give a shout out to Elisa. Her Instagram handle is Elisa Coaching, and she is an RN and a coach, and she helps Filipinx and women of color reclaim body sovereignty beyond their appearance so they can glow with confidence. So Elisa left us a comment on buyusboba.com saying, "Love you both and TFAW. Thank you for creating the space for Filipinx belonging." Elisa, we love you. Thank you for your support.
Yes, Elisa, thank you so much. And Elisa is actually one of the people that we have interviewed on TFAW back on February 8th of last year, 2020. She shared a lot about her experience in the medical field, nursing, addressing binge eating and mindfulness, which I thought was just such a cool niche to be diving into and something that I think a lot of Pinais in our community could benefit from hearing. And so if you guys haven't already, check out her episode. That is episode 46 on TFAWproject.com. And there you can find her contact info to go look her up on Instagram or Twitter or wherever she is so that you can learn more about mindful eating and just a lot of good information to soak in about body image as a Pinai. So I thought that was also just such a cool thing to talk to her about. And I'm excited to connect with her again in the future. So thank you for your support and you'll be hearing from us soon. We love you.
Yeah, who knows? You might be one of our next live event people. And I want to just publicly apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I know someone named Elisa, and I know that sometimes Alyssa is pronounced Alyssa. So please forgive us if we mispronounce your name. I know it's been a couple episodes since we spoke to you, but at least people can look you up and you can correct them there and publicly apologize. I feel like I've just been dealing with so many different name pronunciations nowadays that I can't keep track of it all. So I hope that you'll give us that extra grace for, maybe possibly mispronouncing your name, but also giving you a shout out. So you're welcome. and last one before we get going, because Cynthia is in the waiting room. So last person we want to give a shout out to is Maria. Maria also supported us on buyusboba.com. Thank you so much, Maria. And Maria has been listening to the podcast since 2019. And she says that she especially loves the episodes with our relatives. Keep up the good work. Maria, thank you for that.
Yes, shout out to you for being one of our day ones. We love you.
We should have like a hashtag day ones.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And I think we'll just wrap it up here, Nani. Other than that, we love you all. We want to thank you all. And we can't wait. Remember, tomorrow we are featuring Lynne from the Filipino Momcast. Her live workshop is called How to Handle Negative Self-Talk, Making an Acquaintance Instead of an Enemy. So that's it. We're done. So Nani, thanks.
Yes.
And to our listeners, we'll chat with you again soon.
We love you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.